Alright, hi guys, this is Mrs. Rooker. In this video, I am going to show you the answers to the day 10 homework and go over how to do some of them. So I'm just going to kind of talk about them. I'm not going to do all of these, but here we have the line y equals 2x plus 1, but it only goes to the right of 0. That's what greater than or equal to means. It's going to the right. So I'm actually going to change this. It's not the red one, it's the blue one, because that's the one that's going to the right of 0. The other one is going to be going to the left of 0. So this is a line with a y-intercept of 1 and a slope of up 2 over 1. Y-intercept is 1, the slope is up 2 over 1. So we start at 1, we go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And we draw it going to the to the right of 0 because of greater than or equal to, but we don't draw it going to the left. The other line has a y-intercept of 1 as well, and it goes down 1 over 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, which is the same as going up 1, left 1, up 1, back 1, up 1, back 1. But we only want to draw this line to the left of 0. Technically, we would put an open circle at 0, but because there was already a closed circle from the other line at 0, it stays filled in. We draw it going to the left, but we erase all the other stuff, the stuff that went to the right. Alright, the next one we have a red line that goes to the left of 2. So that's the red line with a slope of down 1 over 2 and a y-intercept of -1. Be careful with the slopes because this is going to the left. Some students do the slope backward. This is still technically a negative slope, even though the arrow looks like it's pointing up. Remember, slope is from left to right. So I usually draw the slope going to the right first, and then go back to the left. And then just, in this case, you're erasing the stuff that goes to the right of 2. The other one is a line with a y-intercept of -7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's way down here. But the slope is up 3 over 1. So go up 1, 2, 3 over 1. Up 1, 2, 3 over 1. Up 1, 2, 3 over 1. Up 3 over 1. Up 3 over 1. But this only goes to the right of 2. So I go over to the x value of 2, go straight down and meet the line, draw a closed circle there because of the line underneath, draw the line going to the right, erase everything else. The next ones were a little interesting. These are both absolute value. So I will do this one just kind of quickly. So this first one goes from -1 to 2. So from -1 to 2, that's the red one here. And then this one must be the blue one that goes from 2 all the way over to 6. Okay, so I'll start with the red one. I need to find the vertex first. Remember, the vertex, when we have this in HK form, a times x minus h plus k. Bad k, sorry. Any issues there? All right, to find the vertex, you always do HK, or opposite of whatever number is being added inside the parentheses, same as whatever number is added on the end. So that means opposite of whatever number is being added in here, there's nothing that's being added in there. So that's just 0, 9 is the vertex. So we plot the point 0, 9. Then we always have a V shape for absolute value. So this is going to be a V with a slope of -1 on the right side. So that means I go down one, right one, down one, right one, down one, right one, down one, right one, down one, right one. And then I do the same thing, but in the opposite direction. So down one, back one, down one, back one, down one, back one, down one, back one. But I only draw that from -1 to 2. So I go over on the x-axis to -1, go straight up to meet the line. Close circle there because of the line underneath, the or equal to. Then I go over to +2. That's an open circle. I draw everything in between those two lines, but I erase everything else. Then the next one, I find the vertex first. This vertex is going to be 5, 0, because there's nothing being added on the end. So that's just like +0. So 5, 0 is the vertex. Then the slope is going to be +3. So that means to the right, I'm going to go up 3, over 1, up 3, over 1, up 3, over 1. Same thing in the opposite direction. Up 3, back 1, up 3, back 1, up 3, oops, I counted too much on that first one. Up 3, back 1 would have been there. Up 3, back 1, up 3, back 1. But I only draw that going from +2 to +6. So here the x value is 2, over here the x value is 6 with an open circle like 6. And erase everything else. All right, here are the answers to 4, 5, and 6. I'm not going to do all of these, but on number 4, you can see that we have just a constant here. That's just like the line y equals 2, which means that it's just a horizontal line. So this is a horizontal line, that red horizontal line right there. Same thing on number 5. We have just y equals 2. That's just a horizontal line. That's this blue horizontal line here. These are all just horizontal lines. A horizontal line at y equals -1, y equals 2, and y equals 5. Back to number 4. This one is the one in the middle that goes from 1 to 3. It's technically an absolute value, so it should be a V shape, but it's a V with a vertex of 0, 0, because there's no number being added in the middle and no number on the end. The h and k are both 0. So the vertex is 0, 0, and the slope is up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Same thing in the opposite direction, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. But we only draw that line from 1 to 3. So it only goes from 1 to 3, and everything else gets erased. So you can't even tell by looking at our answer that it was a V shape to begin with. All right, I think that is all I'm going to talk about on these. So pause the video if you need to look at this some more, but I'm moving on. All right, write and graph the piecewise function described using the domain of -3 to 3. Basically, x is greater than or equal to -3, but less than or equal to +3. So between -3 and 3. On this first one, it says the output f of x is the input x rounded to the nearest integer. If the decimal part of x is 0.5, then x is rounded up when x is positive and x is rounded down when negative. This is just normal rounding rules. For example, if I gave you the number 2.5, you would round that up to 3 because the decimal was 0.5, so you round up. But if I gave you the decimal -2.5, you would round that to -3 because you round up. Well, if it's negative, it's technically rounded down here because it was 5 and below. So we need to write a piecewise function for this, and this wasn't actually written out. So let's do that really quick. If you had a number that is between, well, think about what numbers would round to give you 0. That would be any number between negative 0.5 and positive 0.5, but you wouldn't actually include 0.5 because 0.5 would round up. So your answer, I'm going to do a little function, f of x. If you have, or you will round to 0 if you have anything that's between negative 0.5 and positive 0.5, because that would round to 0. You would round to 1 if you had anything that was 0.5, between 0.5 including 0.5 and 1.5, but 1.5 wouldn't round to 1, 1.5 would round up, so we don't actually include 1.5 because that would round up to 1. It would round, your number would round to 2 if it was anything from 1.5, including 1.5, all the way up to 2.5, but you don't include 2.5 because that would round up to 3. So anything from 3.5, or sorry, 2.5, including 2.5 would round up to 3. All the way up to, we only want ours to go from negative 3 to positive 3. So we're not going past 3. So 3 would round to itself, obviously. Now we'll do the same thing for the negatives. It would round to negative 1 if it is 0.5, negative 0.5, including negative 0.5, that would actually round to 1. Oops, I'm doing this backward. 0.5 would be the largest. All the way down to, let's see, negative 1.5, but we wouldn't actually include the negative 1.5 because that would round down to negative 2. So negative 1.5 would round to negative 2. All the way down to negative 2.5, but we don't include negative 2.5 because that would round to negative 3. So negative 2.5 rounds to negative 3. And then we only want to go down to negative 3. So that's the lowest we're allowed to do. So that is the kind of ugly, long, piecewise function that gives you this answer. The next one is similar, except it's not the traditional rounding rules. It's saying that the output, so the answer you get out, is the greatest integer that is less than or equal to the input. So what that means is if I plug in like 2.9, 2.9 is going to round down in this case because it says the output is going to be the greatest integer that's less than or equal to that. So 2.9 rounds down to 2. Even 2.9999999 would round down to 2. So basically anything that starts with 2 point something rounds to 2 in this case, which is how we get this function. All right, and then the last one here, an air conditioning salesperson receives a base salary of $2,850 per month plus a commission. The commission is 2% of the sales up to and including $25,000 for the month, and 5% of the sales over $25,000 per month. So A and B, I would actually probably do after I do C, because understanding what the function looks like is going to be helpful in answering A and B. So let's look at C first. It says write a function that relates the salesperson's total monthly income with his or her sales for the month. So this first function, or this first part of the function, is saying that he or she makes 2,850 or 2,850 plus 2%. That's a typo there. This should say 0.02, because 0.02 would be 2%. 0.2% would be 20%. But 2% of the sales if the salesperson makes between 0 and 25,000 in sales. Then for anything over 25,000 in sales, the person is going to make the 2% on the first $25,000 of sales. So if we do 25,000 times 0.02, or the 2% commission that they'll make on the first 25, we should get, let's see, let me do the math really quick. 25,000 times 0.02, we get 500. So $500 commission on the first 25,000 plus the base salary of 2,850 gives the person, if they get $25,000 in sales, they will have made $3,350 on so far. But they will also make commission on, or make some money on, the sales that they've made over 25,000. But this number here already included the first $25,000 in sales. So we don't want to include it again. So we subtract that because they're only getting 5% commission for the sales that are over 25,000. So we don't want to count it twice. All right. Determine the salesperson's total monthly income if his sales were 19,500. So 19,000, his or her sales were 19,500. So we always look here first. 19,500 is between 0 and 25,000. So we're going to plug into the first equation. So that would just be 2,850 plus 0.02 times 19,500. Multiply first, then add the 2,500 or 2,850, and you should end up with this number. The next one is if the sales were 43,000, which is greater than 25,000, so we're plugging into this bottom one. So you'll plug 43,000 in for X minus 25,000, multiply that by the 0.05, and then add 3,350. All right, that is it, guys. Thank you for watching the video. And yeah, that's it. Bye.